What's going on, guys? This is William Doria. This channel is for aspiring entrepreneurs interested in financial freedom through real estate. Today, we're going to go over rental property flooring, which one to pick, why, and what I've learned, because I tell you what, guys, I've been told anything and everything in the book as far as a consumer, and when I got my first rental property, I didn't know what to put in it. I didn't know, do I just throw in a bunch of carpet? Do I throw down this thing called laminate or vinyl, or what's the difference? And why don't I just go with the cheapest thing that looks good? I don't know, and honestly, I just went with one person's opinion that probably was just doing it for commission basis only. So, what are the flooring choices, guys? There's a lot of them out there, and we're going to break it down to it, and we're going to get to it real fast. Okay, the choices are this. Carpet. You can throw in carpet, and you can just wham bam, thank you ma'am, the whole place in carpet. But here's the thing with carpet, okay? Even though it's really cheap, I mean, guys, it's like 69 cents a square foot with free install through Lowe's or Home Depot, usually if you spend enough money. So you can do the math. I mean, I think it's $1,000 at least here in 2020. It's $1,000 to as your free install. So as long as you hit $1,000 worth, so if you got a 1,500 square foot house, a carpet and pad and tax, you should probably be there, and it'll be about $1,500, give or take, with free install. Not too bad, right? Here's the thing. With a rental property, renters live in it. Dogs, cats, pets that you don't even know about that they aren't paying a deposit for and they hope you never find out. Kind of get what I'm saying? Ferrets, monkeys, elephants, whatever. I mean, you can imagine what goes through rental properties, including, cigarette ashes, motor oil. You get the picture, guys. Carpet is not the best idea for a rental property if you plan on holding on to it. Now, if you're a flipper, that could be a different story, okay? You could just, bam, make it look pretty, get rid of it, you're done. But if you're going to be a buy and hold investor like myself, and you like to hold on to your properties for the long term, and you'd like to minimize your repair during turnover, because here's the thing, guys. Just because somebody signs a 2-year contract doesn't mean they're going to stay there for more than 2 months, unfortunately. And they may leave with much more damages than their deposit even covers, okay? So you can knock out carpet, you can throw it down, be done with it. All right, we're going to start with the cheap stuff. Did I say cheap? Okay, so here's the thing. This is vinyl. It's basically life-proof. When I say life-proof, I mean like a dog can pee on it, you cannot see it for 2 days, wipe it up, and it's going to be okay kind of thing, okay? This is great stuff except for this. It's 69 cents a square foot, which is crazy cheap, okay? The thing is, it doesn't actually need any underlayment, such as this one. We'll get to this in a second, but this is a peel and stick, like a giant sticker, okay? So, yes, even though this is a peel and stick and it'll stick to some surfaces, if you just pull up the carpet and you see concrete there that was built by the foundation, basically is the foundation, this is probably not going to stick to it unless that is a really, really smooth concrete. If you go out to your driveway right now and try to stick this, it might kind of stick, but here's the thing. People are walking out, they're stopping, they're turning around, there's dogs running on it. You've got kids on little battery-powered cars on these things. You got stuff. I mean, it's going to move, guys. It's going to peel up, and here's the thing. With these edges, you try to lay them down perfectly, and you try to squish them. The edges, when they get caught by somebody's foot, or if they get wet and they sit in there for a while, and the edge starts to peel a little bit, it's going to, every tile is going to have an edge that you can see and you can feel and start coming up, and next thing you know, they're chipping on the corners. You're going to have to redo the whole place. I bought a property that looked like it had some pretty good stuff. Looked like it, but it was really this. And you know how I know? Is because some of the tiles had literally moved completely. They've literally shifted. And I put them back in place and I pushed them down, and then I went to test it and it just moved again. Like, it just wasn't sticking at all. And the whole house was like that. So I got liquid nails, I got super glue, I got whatever I could just to find the tiles that were having little issues and, really kind of pushed them down. And I think I put some books or something anyways on it. It just wasn't the greatest thing. Now, this is super durable as far as something getting spilt on it, though. It's fantastic. Like, if you were doing this in a laundry room, for instance, it might be a small laundry room. It might be good stuff. as long as it doesn't flood and doesn't sit there, because well, it's a stick, and then stick that sits in water. You see the problem? But like a closet, a really small closet, like one of those little like hall closets, this could be awesome, as long as what's underneath that carpet or underneath the floor or whatever is semi-stickable. Like, get one of these free samples. Guys, I got this at Home Depot. It's a free sample. Take it home, take off the backing, see if that thing sticks well. If it doesn't, not a good choice, guys. Here's the other one, all right? We're going to step it up. This is going to be laminate, okay? So this is basically your next option up from carpet to vinyl. Then we're going to go to a laminate, and then we're going to go to a luxury vinyl, right? Luxury, right? So, okay, so this laminate, here's the thing that a lot of people get confused with laminate. This laminate actually looks like wood, and it kind of feels like wood. And believe it or not, it has some wood composite inside of it as well, right? Pretty cool, except for this. Out of this vinyl, this nicer vinyl we're going to go over, and this, all of these look the same when they're installed to anybody else, except for the investor is the one that's going to have to pay for it when a dog goes to the bathroom on this. Because when a dog, for instance, water, could be whatever, could be in this kitchen, if this gets wet and a puddle stays on it for a long term, I say long term, overnight basically, it starts to bubble. And you know what happens after it bubbles and dries? The bubble stays there. And then what happens? You step on it, it starts getting crunchy, and it starts flaking, and next thing you know, your floor looks like garbage. And I mean straight garbage. So here's an example, actually, what happened. So I actually had this floor in a rental property, on my first rental property, because I was talking to doing this stuff instead. And this right here is basically, think of it as like a really, really nice cardboard, for instance, okay? So I was convinced on my first rental with this laminate right here, okay? So I installed it, and take a look at these pictures, all right? So this picture you're looking at right here is actually the floors separating in the hallway. And I'll tell you why they're separating in the hallway is because when this particular tenant left, the washer overflowed, and they didn't know about it for their entire working day, okay? And take a look at this picture. This picture right here shows exactly where it was. Here's the hallway I'm standing in, and there's the washer and dryer where the washer leaked, and it puddled down into the little cracks you can see because the floor has got pulled back now, puddled underneath the floor. And then when they got home, they go, oh no, we have a water issue, and then they mopped up what's on top. The problem is all the water was sitting inside the floors, underneath it, and literally up to the top layer of the floors. All they were doing is wiping up the top layer of the floor. So what happened is this piece right here was soaked in water. So these lockable devices right here on this piece of laminate, when you put them in, you actually put them in a little sideways, and then you lock them in. And then you get this guy, and then you bang, 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 you hammer it in, and it's locked in place. Now, I tell you that because I'm not saying you go do your own floors, but you need to know how they're done, so you need to understand what can happen if you get something like this, because you're going to be the one paying to have them redone. So what happened was they get wet, and then these lockable areas right here, they expand. And when they expand, they're no longer tight and locked. They unlock, okay? And they never relock. That's the problem. That's why the floors are doing what they did in those pictures, is because once they expand, people do what they do. They walk, they move, and guess what? This floating floor is no longer a floating floor. That's what they call the floating floor, by the way, is these. They shift, and once they shift, the gaps are there. You cannot relock them. The floor is straight garbage. Here's another thing. You must, on these, on the laminate, only the laminate, and certain vinyls, we'll go over in a second, you have to have an underlayment. They cost about $12 per 100 square foot at a place like Home Depot, for instance. But the underlayment basically is a pad. It's a barrier in between, and it keeps the click clack, the noises to a minimum. It also gives it that nice little plush feel to it as well. It's so you're not basically walking on concrete. So this is the laminate. I don't recommend laminate for rental properties. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. I don't recommend laminate for rental properties at all. I would rather you go in with this stuff and stick it down, even though this is in my opinion garbage for a large area. Okay, but it's better than this stuff in my opinion. Now this looks great. If you're a flipper, this could work to your advantage very well because it's very cheap. It looks phenomenal installed. It feels like hardwood, okay? But if you're a buy and hold guy like me and you want to live with this kind of stuff, this is not the thing to have, guys. It's just, you're going to be doing it again. Oh, that picture you saw, by the way, those floors were 6 months old. They're 6 months old. Okay, so the next one we're going to go over is luxury vinyl. We're going to go over exactly what luxury vinyl is, why it is the best thing since sliced bread for real estate investors, and why this should be your only go-to option for any rental property that you don't want to have to go back and do again. All right, guys, let me go over exactly what this is, how much it costs, where you get it, all that good stuff, because this is the stuff that you want to install in all your rental properties if you only want to do it once. Okay, so this stuff can be bought at Home Depot, okay? It's called luxury vinyl. Now, here's the kicker, okay? It's about $2.99 a square foot, okay? So do the math. But check this out, okay? This is how this works, is you have these locking edges right here, okay? And they literally lock in place. I'm going to look like a fool here. I'm doing this upside down. Okay. So you put them in just like this, and then you bring them down. You see how they're flush? It almost looks like one piece now, right? You get the rubber mallet, okay? And then you lock them in place, right? And they are 100% locked. This is a true 100% waterproof flooring. This flooring will not swell. It will not bubble. It will not crack. It will not separate. As long as these are put together correctly and these edges don't break when you're installing them, this is a phenomenal floor. I have a ginormous safe with not much in it, but it's a really, really heavy safe, and it's sitting on my floor right now, and it did not damage these, okay? The great thing about this as well is the underlayment on these are already on the floor. You literally take this out of the box and you put it on the ground and install it. Like, it cannot get any easier than this, okay? This is pretty thick. It's very strong. It does not flex. Like, it does not flex. Like, I'll probably break my finger if I try to break this. So a couple things you'll need to install this if you're a do-it-yourselfer, by the way. I'm not a do-it-yourselfer. I'll share a picture with you in a minute here. I did just do one of my own rooms. I want you to see how good it came out. It's fantastic. I put the luxury vinyl in it. It came out amazing. But here's a couple tools. If you're going to do it yourself, is you need a rubber mallet, okay? And we're going to go over install price here in a second, okay? And then you've got this universal tapping block, okay? It's a piece of rubber, basically, with little edges on it. And basically, when you put these in, you put this over, and then you get the hammer, and you tap it, and it locks it in place. It also keeps the floor until the corner you started, basically, okay? This is a must. Like, you can't go without this, all right? And then this guy right here is a metal piece that'll actually, say you're at the very end and you're done, but you need to bring it this way, right? Well, obviously you can't hammer in from this way because the wall's here. This will sit right here, and then you'll hammer from this side, and it'll bring it nice and close. So this right here, and what is this called? This is called a Pro Pull Bar by Roberts, okay? Home Depot as well. They're cheap. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, that's what you're going to need to do this. Now, this picture right here is a real quick, this is my house right here. This is one of my properties. No, this is, well, obviously one of my properties. So this is a room that we did, and we just didn't like the carpet. We were going with some luxury vinyl. So we went with this, and then this is the next picture. Okay, so that's me installing this floor, right? I am not a do-it-yourselfer by any means. But I put on some music, and I had a Red Bull because I needed it. I knew it was going to be a long day. It took us a day and a half to do this room because we haven't done it before. That was our first day. It was a little bit intricate. If you look down into the closet area, going around that was not an easy thing to do. But Oh, and there's the tools that I just talked about. I mean, you use them like every single plank. Okay, so, and then there's the end result, guys. I think it came out pretty good. It was our very first job. Knowing what I know now, I could probably do it in less than a day. It took us a day and a half in our first room, just because it was tough. The trimming around the edges and to figure out all that was a little bit rough. So as far as install price for vinyl, so for either one of the luxury vinyls, the stick down vinyl, guys, I don't think you'd hire for somebody to do that, but you absolutely could. $2 to $3 per square foot. I'm gonna stick with the luxury vinyl here. $2 to $3 per square foot, not including tear out, guys. Like if you have hardwood floors in your rental property you're thinking about buying or you just bought, that does not include tear out. Tear out for hardwood floors is ridiculously expensive. I had no idea. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share one more picture with you guys. I have a rental property here. There's a picture of the last property that I put luxury vinyl in, okay? That was the subfloor, okay? So that's a great example of surprises that can come up on rental properties and flooring. So, oh, and the other thing, it was hardwood flooring. They charged me an absolute fortune to do this house. Just to take up the hardwoods blew my mind what they charged me. I'm gonna go over what I paid for this here in a minute. So if you look by the refrigerator in the back, you can see the original hardwoods. Thing is, they were glued down, they were nailed down, they were stapled and magneted down, like everything in the world. They would not come up, right? So okay, you see the holes in the floor? Those had to be addressed. We actually had to go back over this floor with sheets of wood because this floor was in such bad shape. Of course, we couldn't see it through. I'm going to make another video of why I had to tear that up. And that was actually one of my horror stories of a rental property. But here's the thing, is after it was done, the total on that job, and this house was 1,250 square feet, okay, approximately. It was $11,000. Let that sink in for a minute. So if you're looking at a house and you're going to do rehab on it and it has hardwood floors that you're going to tear out and you're going to put something like luxury vinyl in it, guys, yeah, it's a one-time thing. But that job alone with all the stuff that came up and the miscellaneous repairs, and it was $11,000 for about 1,250 square feet. So just keep that in mind, guys. So to recap everything, carpet is great if you are fixing and flipping. Laminate is great if you're fixing and flipping. Bang for your buck for aesthetics, laminate is the king, guys. Like, it looks great. However, if you're going to live in this house, if you're going to rent this house, if you're going to hold on to this house, luxury vinyl or vinyl nonstick is the way to go, guys. I think they call it a click lock vinyl is the absolute cream of the crop. I've tried everything that's sitting here, guys, including carpet, and I will go with this stuff for the rest of my investing career, which is like another 50 years, basically. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, I'm sorry it took so long. I really started kind of getting into it with pictures and kind of thinking about, but if you like this video and you like the content, please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you guys think about it. I like to upload weekly content, and I want to see you succeed in real estate. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Until next time.